So yesterday we completed the creation of table by using the JDBC program, right? So what is the procedure to connect to the database? We have to register driver with the driver manager. The next step here is we have to call get connection method on the driver manager class. It will return the one connection object. If I'm giving the invalid username and password, so it will throw some exception saying login denied and invalid username and password. So once we connect it to the database server, then we can perform any operation. So let's take here. I want to create one table in the database, so that's why. So we have to write one script, SQL script here. Then I want to execute this SQL script through the Java program, not from the directly. Now what I have to do? We have to give this SQL statement to the one method, that is the execute method. This execute update method is available in the statement object. How can we get the statement object? So when we call the create statement method, on the connection, it will return the statement object. When I'm giving the SQL statement to this execute update method, so whenever this statement is executed, or so a JDBC driver will send this SQL statement to the database server. Yesterday I discussed that one, and the DB server will parse this SQL statement to check whether the SQL statement is correct or not. If any syntax error, then it will throw exception. If everything is fine, so the DB server will execute this statement. After executing that statement, what will happen? One table will be created in the database server. If you see this one, so yesterday we created this table. Let me check this one. Select start from student. So no data found here. We created, so but we didn't insert any data to the table here. If you see this one, describe student also we can see. We can find the only column names and all here if you use the description. So student name, student number, student age, student address we created here. Now what I can do is I want to insert some data into the database table now. So for that also everything is same, just change the SQL statement here. Now what I can do is I want to create the another SQL statement, insert SQL statement I need to create here. So what is the syntax for the SQL? Insert SQL, insert enter student values. Now what is the first one? Student number, right? So student number I'm taking the 1. Student name I'm taking the Suresh. We have to take in the single quote Suresh. And what is the third one? Age is equal to 21. And this address is nothing but I'm taking the Hyderabad. Let's assume. Okay, same thing. Everything is same. Even taking the statement and calling the execute update method. So now this statement will be executed by the database server when this statement is executed. Okay, now in this case what will happen? So record created successfully. Now this one means record inserted successfully in the database server, in the database table. Run as Java application. So record created successfully. Go and check in the database. See this one, student number 1, name equal to Suresh, age equal to 21, student address is Hyderabad. Okay, so this is the way of creating the records or creating the insert statement here. In the same way, I want to create one more record, number 2, student number, and I want to change the name. So that is the first one is Suresh, right? I want to take the Ramesh now, and age equals to 20. Now I want to change the address, that is the Secunderabad. That's it. Now insert one more record here. It will insert one more record. Definitely go and check in the database. So another record will be available here. See, Ramesh, age equal to 20, and address is Secunderabad here. So this is about the insertion of records. Then the next operation here is I want to update the record. Okay, for that also I need to write one SQL statement here. String SQL is equal to I want update one record. I want modify Okay, student 1 address Hyderabad to Delhi. Okay, so what is the SQL query for that one? So the SQL query is like this: update. So for which table we are updating? So student table. Okay, so for which field in the student table? So for that we have to use the set. Okay, S address equals to Delhi. I want to use. I want to modify to the Delhi, where, okay, so S number is equal to 1. Okay, so what is S number? 1. Username Suresh, and that address, this Hyderabad, will be modified to the Delhi now, because we are updating that address where student number equal to 1 here. Okay, so now, so record updated successfully now. So run as Java application. See this one, record updated successfully. Go and check in the database now. The first record got modified now. See this one, instead of Hyderabad, it modified to the Delhi because of the update statement here. Okay, so in the similar way we can perform the delete also. Okay, so I want delete this one. So what is the SQL query for this one? So delete from table. What is the table? Student. Okay, where S number equal to 2. I want delete the record where S number equal to 2. That means the second record will be deleted from the database now. Okay, for that we have a query like this: delete from student where student number equal to 2, here S number equal to 2. So here record deleted successfully. Run as Java application. See this one, record deleted successfully. Check the table in the database. So we have only one record here. Okay, so this is the way of performing the like insert, update, delete, create table here. Okay, the data remember here. Now, so we inserted the record and we updated and we deleted. Now I want to retrieve the data from the database table now. I want to retrieve the data from the database table. So for that I want insert one more record. Presently we have only one record. I want to insert one more record. This one, insert into student, second record, and Ramesh 20 and second record. Okay, now run this program here. Here not deleted, inserted. Okay, run as Java application. Now go and check in the database. I inserted one more record because I want to retrieve these two records, okay, into the console here by using the program. So what is the what is the statement actually? What is the query for retrieve all the records from the database table? So string SQL is equal to, okay, select star from student. Select star from student here. Then so all records will be, okay, retrieved here. Now my question here is, so this statement is the same, okay, but the method will be changing here. Okay, for non-select statements, listen carefully. For non-select statements we have to use the execute update method. Okay, for select statements we have to use the execute query method here. We have to call the execute query method. So listen carefully. For select statements we have to use the execute query method, and for non-select statements we have to use the execute update method. That is the first difference you have to remember. If you observe, I will give you the differences here. The two methods, they will ask in the interview what is the difference between the execute update and execute query method. Second method here is execute query method here. Okay, now so let's start with the execute update here. So when should we go for this execute update? For non-select statements. For non-select statements we have to go with the execute update method. Then when should we go for this execute query? For select statements, for select queries, for select statements, okay, we have to use the execute query here. If you observe here, what is the return type of this execute update method? The return type of the execute update method is the integer, okay, indicating that number of rows affected by that statement here. I will show that example, indicating that number of rows affected by that statement here. For example, so I'm inserting one record. Okay, so that record, how many records were inserted? Only one record. Then that means so it will return only one here. For example, I deleted 10 records from the database table, then that method will be return 10. That means so it will indicate number of rows affected by that SQL statement and all. Okay, that you have to remember here. Coming to the here, the return type of the execute query is result set. So this result set contains the data from the database here. Okay, that you have to remember here. Okay, now if you see this one previous example, I am not retrieving here. So execute update only I'm taking, but I want to insert one more record here. See, insert into student values. So 3 is the ID, and here I'm taking the here I'm taking, and 21 is the age, and HYD is the address here. Now, so what I'm saying here is, so the return type of this execute update is the integer x is equal to, so this one. Now, what is this x indicates? The x indicates number of rows affected by this statement here. How many rows is inserted? Only one row. That's why. So that will be written 1 here. I'm printing the x value. So what is the output here? Run as Java application. So it will give the 1 here because only one record got inserted. For example, I deleted 10 rows. Then 10 will be written to us here. Okay. So that is the return type of the execute update here. One important note you have to remember here. Okay. For dropping table, for creating table, and so alter table, so that execute update method returns the 0. For remaining operations, it will return the number of rows affected. But in this case, these three cases like dropping a table, creating a table, and altering a table, that execute update method returns the 0 actually. Okay, that you have to remember here. That's it is about the execute update method. Now, I want to retrieve the result. I want to retrieve the records from the database now. Then for select statements, we have to use the execute query method here. The return type of this execute query is a result set. Okay. What this result set contains? Result set contains the records from the database table here. Now I want to iterate this result set one by one so that I can get the each and every record so that we can print that record into the console here. Okay. Now see this one. So what is the SQL statement I have to use? Select star from student. So create statement is perfectly valid. So instead of execute update method, so which method we have to use? We have to use the execute query method we have to use. What is the return type of this one? It will return the result set RS. So what this result set contains? Okay, so results from the database, records from the database table here. Now this results set will pointing to the before first row. Generally, so this result set contains the records actually, just like a table only, but it is pointing to the before first row. For example, here, if you observe this one, here we have a table, right? See this one. So we have a data here. It is okay. Now what will happen? Say, so this result set will pointing to the before first row. This is a pointing to this one. That means result set is having here. Okay. Now when I'm calling the rs.next, it will go to the first row here. It will go to the first row. This result will go to the first row. If it is there, if the first row is there, it will return the true. Otherwise, it will return the false. Okay, that you have to remember. That's why. So by using the while loop, I can iterate and I can print the result set here. While loop, I'm taking rs.next. Then it will go to the first record. That means next available record. If it is available, this method will return the true. If this method returns true, then there is a record. Now I want to print that record information here. Okay, simple thing, we can print the information like this. rs dot get, for example, I want to get the student number, that is an integer, right? So that's why, so rs dot get int. Here we need to provide the column index 0, or I can give the column label. So that means the column name I can give. What is the column name? S number. So what it will return? It will return the integer x is equal to, so get int of s number. Instead of taking extra variable, directly I can print in the SOP like this, rs dot get int of s number. So it will return the s number here. In the same way, I want to print the name and roll number or something, s name. So next one is the age, and finally we have s address. Okay, 4 things we did here. If you see this one, run this program, run as Java application. Some failed to convert internal representation, perfectly valid. See, so this s number is an integer, that's why I took the get int, but s name is a string, so it should not convert actually string to the integer here. And s age is also integer, but address is again string, then we have to use the get string. Okay, so run as Java application here. See this one. So first record Suresh 21 Delhi, second record here Ramesh 20 and all, and this is about the Kiran 21 and Hyderabad we are getting. Now after printing each and every record, I want to print some star marks so that we can get these things here. Now here, if you want to print the, okay, if you want, you can so get the record number here. For example, how can we get the record number here? So there is a method called rs dot get row method here. For example, it is iterating the first row, it will print the first row. Okay, so for example, it is iterating the second row, it will print the second row. Okay, that is the, so by using this method we can get the current row. Okay, what is that method? rs dot get row method here. Okay, now run this program. Now run as Java application here. First row, okay, so id, name, age, address, over. This is the first row is over. In the same way, second row and third row. Okay, so this way, so we can iterate the, so this records from the database and we can print that information here. Okay, perfectly valid. So clear everyone? Any doubts, Shwati and Vaishali?
Clear.
Okay, fine. So next one here is, okay, fine. Next one here is, there are types of result sets we have. We have a 2 types of result sets here. What is the first one? Scroll sensitive result set. Second one is a scroll insensitive. Second one is a scroll insensitive result sets here. Okay, so what is the difference between scroll sensitive and a scroll insensitive? Okay, if you observe, so this result set, okay, this is a normal result set actually. I can say it is a read only result set or forward only result set. That means, listen carefully, by default what will happen? By default, read only, forward only result set will be created. By default, read only, comma, forward only result set will be created. That means we cannot use the methods like first, last, absolute and previous, okay, on the read only, forward only result set here. That means, so for example, result set is having the 5 records. Okay, 5 records. Now I want to get the first record, or I want to get the last record. How can we get the, normally we have to iterate like this, but without iterating I want to get the record, first record, last record and middle record. Then how can we get this one? So by using this result set, I cannot get actually. By using the default result set, I cannot get. For that, we have to use the the scroll sensitive and scroll insensitive result set we have to use. Okay, so normally we should not use like this. We cannot use first method, last method and absolute method and previous method on the read only result set here. By default, read only result set will be created. If you want to use these methods, we have to use the either scroll sensitive and scroll insensitive result set here. Then what is the difference between the scroll sensitive and scroll insensitive result set here? Listen carefully. So in the enter the logs, what is the difference between the scroll sensitive and scroll insensitive? Then you should the answer like this here. Scroll sensitive result sets can pick up the changes that are made to the database application. Okay, by after opening the result set here. Okay, here see, scroll sensitive result set can pick up the changes that are made to the DB server or DB by another application after opening the result set here. That means, for example, I have another application, so that application also access the same database. Okay, so after opening the result set, what happened? So I want to modify some data to the database by using the another application. Then we should get the modified data, not previous data. That means, so we have to get the current data, not previous data. So by using the scroll sensitive result set, I can get the latest data. Okay, so in order to get the latest data, we have to call a method called refresh row method. We have to call the refresh row method on the result set so that we can get the latest data here. I will give you one example so that you can get the things actually. Okay, now what about the scroll sensitive insensitive result set? Here in this case, so the scroll insensitive result set cannot pick up the changes that are made to the database application by another application after opening the result set here. Okay, so here, so it cannot pick up the changes. Cannot pick up the changes that are made to the database by another application of opening the result set. Even we cannot call the refresh row method to get the current data. Okay, we cannot call refresh row method on the result set here. Okay, so this is the difference between the scroll sensitive and scroll insensitive result set here. So let's start with one example so that you can get the things here. So what I can do is I will take one SQL statement. So we should not use this star here. We have to mention the individual column names, S number, S name, SH, S address, student address here from the student here. Okay, now what I can do is I can execute the create statement and execute query here. Here the important thing you have to remember here is, so I want to create the scroll sensitive result set. For that we have to use the whenever we are creating the statement, right? So here we have to mention which type of result set we want. So result set dot, so there is a type, see this one, scroll sensitive result set and scroll insensitive result set here. Now I'm using the scroll sensitive result set here. And in the scroll sensitive result set we have two things again, read only, concur, read only here. Read only and concur updatable. I'm taking the result set, I will explain the difference again. Result set dot concur read only we have. Again here we have in the scroll sensitive read only we have and updatable we have. Okay, what is the difference between the read only and updatable? I will explain here. Okay, now I'm taking the read only here. So I'm executing this one. Result set rs is equal to statement dot execute query. Now I want to get the first row, rs dot, there is a method called first. Then here we'll get the first row here. Now system.out.println rs dot get int of, so here what is that column name? S number. Just I want to print this one. What is output we are going to get here? First row. If you see in the database, first row is a storage and student number is equal to 1. Now this one run as Java application, we get the one is the output here. For example, I want to get the rs.last. Then, so what is the last record in the database table? 2. So it will give the 2 because we have only 2 records. Sorry, 3 all. We already have just run this program. The one we added one more record, right? This one 3 here. 3 is the output here. Okay. So in this way we can perform the insert this first, last, and all. Now what I can do is I'm taking the first method, first record only. Now I want to get the address, that is first we will get the Delhi S address. See this one, Control F11. So spelling mistake here, not get int, get string we are going to take, Control F11 here. See this one, Delhi we are getting. Now what I can do is I want to modify the some data after opening this result set. That means I want to stop this program temporarily. How can we stop this program temporarily? So we have to call the system dot okay in dot, there is a method called read. Okay, when we enter any key, then only it will process the next statement, otherwise it will not execute the next statement. It will throw some exception, IO exception, you can throw that one here. In the same way I want to take another read method. So because I want to enter, if I'm pressing the enter, it will release the two keys actually, that's why. So one key will be read by this method and another key also to be read by this second method here. That's why I take the two read methods. If you want, you can take the only read method, only one, but you have to press other than the enter. In the Windows, if you press enter, it will release the two keys. Okay, two characters will be released actually. That's why. So I'm taking the two read methods here. Now, so meanwhile, what will happen in this case? The program stops temporarily here. Now, so from the other application, let's take this is the application. I want to modify this address. Then I should get the refresh row once we enter the program here. So system.out.println here. Again, I want to get the student address here. After modifying, I should get the latest data. But in order to get the latest data, we have to call the rs dot. There is a method called refresh row method here. Okay. So before getting the latest data, we have to call the refresh row method. If you see this one, run as Java application. We are getting the delay. See, these are red color still we have. That means so it is waiting for the keys. Okay. Meanwhile, what I can do is I want to modify this address to the different location. See this one, update student set s address equals to, I'm taking the Pune. Okay, where what is the first record? S number is equal to 1. So run this one here. So one row updated. Go and check in the database. Select start from student. So Pune got modified here. It modified to the Pune. Now just enter here. That's it. We will get the latest data, that is a Pune, because of the refresh row method. Okay, that means so scroll sensitive result set will pick up the latest changes that are made to the database application by another app. Okay, so here we are in the conquer read only. That means we can read the data. That's it. rs.get string and all. That's it. I cannot modify. I can call the first and last methods, but I cannot modify the data. If I'm using the conquer updatable, then we can modify the data here. Okay, how can we modify? I will explain. See this one, conquer updatable. We need to take result set conquer updatable here. Now by doing this, I can modify the data. Now see this one, we have first row. I want to modify this one. Okay, so for that rs dot there is a update string. There is a method called update string. Here I want to take the column name, same thing, s address. Again I modify to the same Hyderabad, Pune to Hyderabad here. Okay, so for this column I want to modify the data for the first row. In the same way, if you want to modify to the other columns also, I want to modify the age also. Now that is the update int, right? So update int, so s age. So I want to modify previously what is the age here? So 21. I want to modify to the 22 now. Now So I need to call like this method rs.update row. Okay, sure, I will explain. After this example, I will explain here. Okay, update. We have a update row method here. So here what will happen? So in this case, so the data will be reflected in the database here. When I'm calling the update string and update int, it will modify the data to the result set. Okay. So but when I'm calling the update row, automatically data will be updated to the database here. System.out.println here updated successfully. So run as Java application here. See this one. So updated successfully. Go and check in the database. See this one again, Hyderabad camp and age also modified here. Okay, so by using the concur updatable, I can modify the data. Okay, so this is the thing you have to remember here. Now I want to get the obsolete record. That means I want to get the third record here or second record I want to get. Based on the number, it will retrieve that record here. For example, there are 100 records. I want to get the 47 record. Then rs.absolute of 47. It will return the 47 record. Now I want to delete that record. Directly you can delete the record like this. Okay, no need to perform like delete from and all. Rs dot, there is a method called delete row. Automatically the second row will be deleted here. Okay, now see this one, deleted successfully. Run as how many records we have? 3 records. So I'm removing the second record here. Obsolete of second means to return the second record. So on that I'm performing the delete row here. Run as Java application. So deleted successfully. So go and check in the database. We have only 2 records. Okay, that means by using the concur updatable, we can modify the data, but concur read only we cannot modify the data. Okay, that you have to remember here. So here in the previous case, the system.read method, what it will do? That method will stop the execution temporarily. See this one, not only this one here. See. So here this method will stop the execution temporarily, so that I can modify the data from other application. Meanwhile, okay, so for demonstration, I took this system.read method here. So that here stop the execution. Then I can modify the data from other application so that the database contains the latest data. Okay, again, if I'm entering this one, I'm pressing enter, automatically the character will be reading by these methods. Core Java concept, system.in.read here. What will happen? So generally in the Windows, it will release the /n/r 2 characters. It will release if you press enter. Then so first read method will be reading by this /n, and the second character will be read by this second read method here. Then only the next statements will be executed. That means this read method is expecting the characters. How can we get, how this read method will take the characters? When you press some keys, right? So you can take the one read method, but sorry, instead of entering the instant pressing enter key, you have to give the another key like F key, something K, any number here. Then that is enough here. But I'm pressing the enter, that's why I'm taking the 2 read methods. So if I press the enter key, then it will release the 2 characters. These 2 characters will be reading these 2 methods here. After that, so if you're entering, then these 2 will be read. After that, the remaining statements will be executed here. So clear, Swati? Okay, fine. So this is about the scroll sensitive as well as a scroll insensitive result set here. Next one here is, I will give you one important interview question. That is the difference between the statement and the prepared statement here. If you see this one, so you clear this scroll sensitive and scroll insensitive, the difference, Vaishali and Swati? Can you explain one more time? Yes, fine. Okay. Fine. Next one here is, what is the difference between this statement versus prepared statement? Okay, so if I'm taking one statement here, I want to insert three records. Let's assume insert into student values. I'm taking one student, and the second one is the name S1, and age is equal to 21, and address is equal to, let's check Hyderabad. So this is about the one SQL statement here. In the same way, I want to take another SQL statement. 2, here is a 2 here, and 20 I'm taking, and I'm taking the second table. Let's assume there are 2 records here. I want to insert these 2 records into the database. What is the procedure we have to follow? We have to call the connection dot create statement, right? So what this method will return? This method will return the statement object. Okay, so when I'm calling this statement dot execute update by passing the SQL1, okay, so again I need to call the one more execute update method SQL2. Okay, so in this way we have to perform in order to insert those records into the database here. So what will happen when this statement is executed? Okay, and what will happen when this statement is executed here? See, I told you, right, whenever the statement at execute update method is executed, so 3 operations will do. First one is JDBC driver sends SQL statement to the server, and DB server sends DB server parse the SQL statement to check whether the statement is correct or not. If everything is correct, DB server executes that statement here. Okay, these are the 3 operations it will perform whenever the execute update method is executed here. Again, when I'm calling a statement at execute update method second query, what will happen? Again, 3 set of operations will perform. Again, 3 operations will perform here. Again, the JDBC driver sends the SQL statement to the server, and DB server parse the SQL statement, and DB server execute that statement if it is correct. Okay, this is about the statement related stuff here. Why I'm taking this statement here? Because this is about the statement object we have. In place of statement, I can use the prepared statement, this one. Then what is the difference here? I will explain here. So for that, what I can do is, I'm removing all the things. See this one? We are connected to the database. Now I want to insert some data here. See this one? So for that, I want to take one SQL statement, right? String SQL is equal to insert into student values. So here I want to take the question marks. Parameters, parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3, and parameter 4. I need to set this, I need to set the values to this parameter later, okay? Now, I want to get the prepared statement instead of statement here. So by using the connection object, I can get connection dot, there is a method called prepare statement. I need to pass the SQL statement here. So it will return the prepared statement object, PSTMT. Now I need to set the values to this parameter by using the prepared statement. How can we set this one? See, PSTMT dot, very important, set. First one is the integer. The parameter 1 is 1, and I'm taking the 200 is a student number. In the same way, I want to set the value to the student name, that is a string, and the parameter is a second, and value equals to, I'm taking like student 1 or student 2. Next one, I want to take the student integer, that is a age, Okay, that is the third parameter, and age is equal to, I'm taking the something 19. And the fourth one is the address. So I'm taking the student address I'm taking. Okay. So next one we have to call the what method? Same thing. Execute update method only. Okay, so this is the first statement that I remember. That means, so what I'm trying to say is this is the first one. Just assume it is the first one. Now I want to execute another method. I want to insert another record here. The same SQL query, no need to change anything, but I need to set the values. That's it. Okay, 201 now. Yes, 2. And instead of 19, I'm taking the 18. And address, okay, 2, I'm taking something. Now I need to call the statement that execute update method here. Okay, now see this one. I'm taking the different paint here. So what will happen actually? What will happen when this statement is executed? And what will happen when this statement is executed here? Okay, two things, right? See, very first time, so it will perform the 3 operations like this only. Like JDBC driver will send the SQL statement. Okay, and so DB server pause SQL statement, and DB server execute that statement with character. But from the second time onwards, okay, second time onwards, what will happen? See, so JDBC driver will not send any SQL statement, and the JDBC server will not pause. Already is there with the server. Just JDBC driver will send values to the parameters. Then, so DB server execute that statement. DB server execute that statement by using new values. So these are the 2 operations it will perform actually from the second time onwards. For example, here I'm having the another thing. So here let's assume it is a 3. In this is what will happen. So again, so these 2 operations will perform. Not so JDB, in this case also JDBC driver will not send the statement because already the statement is available with the server. Just we are passing the only values to this parameter. So by using those parameters, the JDBC the DB server will execute that statement. So which is give the more performance. So prepared statement will give the performance here. That means, so in this case the parsing phase is eliminated. Sending and parsing phase is eliminated actually. Okay, in the real time we have to use the prepared statement instead of the statement here. In the real time we have to use the prepared statement only. For example, there is a one form, okay, like a student registration form. So in that case, so insert statement, right, we have to use the prepared statement. So there is only one statement, so that will be with the database server. Then I am sending the new values, then the values will be replaced with the old values, and that means the values will be okay going to these parameters, positional parameters. Then the DB server will execute the statement with the new values every time. That means the JDBC driver will not send any statement to the server SQL statement. It will use the existing statement, and then it will use the only exist statement, and the DB server will send the only new values to the statement. That's it. So this is about the statement and prepared statement. The simple thing here. In the case of statement, so these 3 operations will perform. In the prepared statement also, very first time 3 operations will perform, but second time onwards the parsing phase is eliminated. Only the JDBC driver will send the values to these positional parameters, and the DB server will execute the statement by using the new values. Okay, this is about the statement versus prepared statement. If you see this one, so system.out.println here. Okay, executed successfully. Okay, see this one, run as Java application. So 2 records will be inserted. Go and check in the database table. See this one, 200, 201 here. Perfectly valid. Okay. So this is a way of taking the statement and the prepared statement. Okay. So that's it. So do you have any questions, Vaishali and Swati? So if you have any doubts, please let me know. I will explain one more time.
Hello.
Yeah, Swati.
Yeah. Just in this program,
Okay.
instead of question marks, can we pass the values at the in insert query?
No, if you're passing the values, what will happen again? So we have to use the statement object, not prepared statement. We should not use
Okay.
this one. And one more thing, if you observe, in the previous case, if you use the statement, so we are passing that SQL statement to the execute update method here. Here we are not passing,
Yes.
so we are using the prepared statement here. That's why. So whenever we are using the question marks, we need to pass the data. We should not use the values here. Okay,
Okay.
that is all. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So tomorrow we'll discuss about the remaining things like callable statements. For example, if there is a one stored procedure, I want to execute the stored procedures in the database. So for that we have to use the callable statement. So we used the statement, prepared statement, right? So in the similar way, there is a callable statement. We have to use that callable statement for executing the procedures, and then followed by the transactions, then updates, batch updates. Then we will finish the JDBC tomorrow. So tomorrow max will finish the JDBC. Then after tomorrow onwards, we'll start the servlet programming. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Swati and Vaishali. We'll meet tomorrow at same time. That is a 7 to 8. Okay. Bye. Okay. Okay. Bye.